Hi, welcome to this video. In the last video, we have actually registered our app by creating it. Now what we are going to do, we are going to focus on what type of database we are going to build, how many columns will be present there, what type of primary keys we are going to take, what type of foreign keys that we are going to take if we have any, and all those things can be done in our models.py. Okay. Now, if you have done a little bit of Python previously, or if you have done a little bit of Django previously, you may know that inside this models.py, we really don't need to write any SQL command. We just need to create classes and create objects for our database. Okay, not really objects, we are going to create classes. Okay, so what we are going to do, first of all, like you have seen that every blog has some simple characteristic, like every blog has a title, every blog has some short description which is present in the index.html, and some long description which is present in the blog details. Every app has some author. The author has some name, author has some biodata, it has some publication date, and it has a slog as well. Where is that slog? Like if you have seen properly, like I'm showing again, if you have seen properly, then here you can see in the URL section, it was only 127.0.0.1 in the 8000 port. This is actually the IP address of your home, and this is the port number 8000. But in the next slide, you can see there is an extension which is named as blog learn Django first. So this is called as a slog. These extensions that are used in this URL. So for that purpose, every blog is going to have a unique URL, right? So for that purpose, we need to create unique slogs for every blog that we are going to add in our project. Okay. So for that purpose, a slog field is also needed. And for the author purpose, like author has some name, author has a profile picture, author has some biodata as well. So we are going to create another table where we can store the detail of our authors. So first of all, it is clear now that we have to create two tables. First one is author and the second one is blog. And the blog is actually connected to author through foreign keys. Okay. So what we are going to do now, first of all, to use foreign keys in blog, we need to create author first. So we are going to create class author models.model, and here we are going to create the values that we need for any author or the characteristics of the author. So everything has a primary key. So here we are going to create the author ID, and it will be an auto field which will be automatically incremented, and we are going to pass primary key as true. Also we are going to pass unique as true, because the primary key is always unique in any model. Okay, next thing is the name of the author. So we are going to pass models.character field, and in this character field the maximum size should be present, which is actually the default, or whenever you are going to run this program, it will ask for, whenever you are going to run migration, it will ask for the max size. That is actually a default in Django. You have to do that. We are going to pass some profile pic, and we can actually upload pictures by using image field or video field, something like that. But what we are going to do, we are going to make it simple. We are going to upload it somewhere, and we are going to paste that link here, so that it will be a little bit simple for us to work with work with this picture thing. Okay, but you can upload picture, but that will just increase your increase your complexities, and there are a lot of more things that you need to focus while deploying it to production server if you are uploading images through your admin panel, which I am going to tell later what is the admin panel. Okay, so every author has a bio, so we are going to add this bio, and it is also a text field. Next thing we don't need anything else. What are the other things that we need? Like next we need the blog. There are some other things as well which I am going to tell you. Let me pick some space for that. We are going to create blog and models.model. Now here we are going to create the blog ID, which is actually our primary key. That's why it is an auto field, primary key equal to true, unique equal to true as well. Okay, and every blog has a title. So we are going to pass the models.text field here to put the title. Every blog has a short description. So we are going to pass this short description equal to models.text field. Every blog has a description as well, which we are going to pass as description. Models.text field. The date, we can pass a date time as well. Instead of passing it as I am passing it as a text field, but instead of passing it, we can pass as date time field as well. But I'm going to pass it as text field to make it a little bit simpler. Okay. The next thing is the author. Now this is actually a foreign key. So we have to pass models dot foreign key, and we have to pass the class name here, which is author, and we have to pass something called as on delete. From Django 3, on delete is compulsory. In Django 2, it was not compulsory, but now you have to add this on delete. What does it mean? It means whenever a parent process, parent a column or the parent class is getting deleted, parent object is getting deleted, then the foreign key objects are also going to be deleted. Okay, so that thing is actually very necessary in case you are deleting some data from one column, or I can say one table, and that table is actually connected to another table. So that in that case problem happens and your database break. So that type of problem will not happen in Django, because this is now compulsory to add in Django 3. Okay, now we are going to add the slog as well, which is going to be a text field, models dot text field, not slog field. There is a slog field option available, but I'm not going to use that. Models dot text field, and in this text field we are going to pass unique equal to true. Okay, now I was telling there is something more thing that you have to pass. Like if you guys have studied about the Python special function, special functions or some magic functions, then you guys may know there is something called as def str. So why this is needed? This is needed to pass a string when the object is trying to be printed. Okay, so if you want to print an object in Python and you have not defined this str, then that will give an error. If the str is defined, it will give that give the return, like it will be giving the name here instead of printing, and that is necessary for the models.py file to work. Like if you are working on your admin file, like if you are working on your admin panel, then you will see if you are creating two authors, the first author will be created at author object 1 and the second author will be created at author object 2. If this is not passed, if this is passed, then you will be getting a definite name for that author instead of author object 1, 2. So suppose Abhijit Tripathi is one author, Amok Pete is the second author, so you'll be getting Abhijit Tripathi and Amok Pete respectively. You will not be getting object 1 and object 2. Okay, that's why we are using it. Also, the name of this class should be represented in a better way. So we can actually change this name of the class by assigning a verbose name here. Meta means something, that meta class means that is the class which tells something more about a class, certain class. So here this meta tells something more about the author, where we are asking this verbose name, which is actually author we are passing here. We can pass something else as well, but I'm not interested here. So similar thing we are going to do here. That's why I'm just copying it and pasting it here. So here you have to write title, because no name parameter, name variable is present. Now instead of author, we need to pass blog here. Okay, now our database model is almost ready. Models.py is ready. Now it is a time to convert your Python code to something which can be converted to SQL code for that. So Python Django provides us with something like Python manage.py make migrations. Okay, so we got a actually we got a keyword argument max size, and this is giving us an error of max size equal to 400. So it is not a max size, it is actually the maximum length. Okay, so these things are quite repetitive, so don't worry about them. You are also going to make a lot of mistakes while working with this type of frameworks. Python manage.py make migrations. Now this actually created some migration 001 initial.py create model author create model blog. So let's see what are these migrations. Very important thing. It is actually a very important thing. Now you can see these migrations are actually converted to something, a class called as migrations, which has some operations. The first thing is to create model. Next is to create model. The name is blog and the name is author. Like you can see, you can understand like similar thing is represented in a different way. Why? Because the SQL query command that we are going to convert is actually made in this way. Made to understand this way only. Like you can see, if you are going to pass Python manage.py SQL migrate and you are going to pass 001. Oh, okay, one second. This is a, there is a error, there is a typo. Okay. The following migration name which we have passed is 001. Let's check again. Okay, so we are forgetting the app label. Like you can see, we are forgetting the app label. So don't worry. What you can do here, we can write blog here, and now it will keep the. Now you can see, now this type of problems happen, and don't worry if this type of problem happen. This is actually a framework, and a lot of things you have to remember. So you don't really need to remember it, just to show. No one else use this. So we are going to, like you can see, this is actually the SQL command. So how this is getting converted to SQL command? We are actually writing in Python, but this is important to know that this is actually converted to SQL command. Okay. Now let's clear the screen, and it is not completed yet. We have done the make migrations. I mean we have converted our Python code to something that the SQL can understand. Okay, but now we have to apply that. How we are going to apply that? We are going to apply Python manage.py migrate. Now you can see here and try to understand this. Now you can see a lot of things are getting applied here. Like you can see, this auth is getting applied, this admin is getting applied, this content type is getting applied. So these are actually the apps. Auth, admin, content type. I have already shown you in the second lecture, or in the first lecture, that these are already in the apps. So these are auth, this is for auth, and this is for blog that we have created. This is the last one is for blogs that we have created. So these all things are actually now applied. Now we have something called as this. Now you can see in the left side, we have something new. What is that new thing? We have this db.sqlite3, and inside this db.sqlite3, we already have our tables now because we have applied the Python manage.py migrate. In the next lecture, we will be discussing how the admin panel works and how we can use this admin panel and how URLs work. Okay, so that will just give us a better vision on how to use the admin panel and how to connect between our views, templates, models, all this stuff. For this thing we need to use URLs. Okay, so see you in the next lecture.